a lot of people live on social as well. What's the weather doing in your neck of the woods, Kevin?
It's actually pretty nice today, and I think it's going to be about 60, but it's been really cold most of January, so we're finishing on a strong note here today.
Awesome. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Matthew. How's everyone doing?
Good
Man,
morning,
Sheila. Hey, I'm going to turn things over to Jackie. Jackie,
Jackie.
ready to
Hey
go?
guys, oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Kevin. Kevin Ortiz just moved over to EXP. He's actually from my market here in Colorado. He's an absolute rock star. If you guys see any dust rising from either the east or the west, depending where you are, it's because of this big bold move. And so I am so excited to feature him because I'm just so impressed with him. Kevin comes as a former team leader, CEO of the largest brokerage in Colorado in our region. He was a black belt team leader, which he achieved the highest reward for that role, which means he was the most successful. And over two, Kevin, how many agents were in that office?
When I left, there was over 500, and I can
Yeah,
tell you right now they're under 400. So
yeah,
some things have changed since I left that role.
yeah. But yeah, in addition, runs a production team. He's probably got a few of the people that know and love him. Of course, Danae's on the call too. That's awesome. But Kevin, I don't want to talk much. I would love for you to share a little bit because, one thing I know about you is success has followed you. Now, that's not an accident. It's by intention. And so tell us a little bit more about you and your background and the success that you have created.
Yeah, well, thanks, Jackie. I appreciate the intro, and excited to be here today. So and meet everybody and get to know more people as we move forward with these meetings going forward. So, um, I think the driving force for me has really been just my dad in the past. To be quite honest, I mean he. Instilled in me a good work ethic. He worked in a coal mine. He worked with his body. He wanted me to work with my brain and not my body. So that was a big motivating factor in my life, is to just make him proud of me. So I moved to Denver when I was young. I started with a small, well, not a small, but a finance company. I didn't really know anything about finance. I went from knowing nothing to a branch manager position with about 14 months. Excelled in that role. I've done other things. A big majority of my background is mortgage and finance, so we bring that to the table for our clients as well. Knowing that industry. Ran my own retail and wholesale mortgage companies. I actually met my wife, while I hired her as a loan officer at one point in time, and that's how we met. So that was a good thing. And then we got into real estate about 13 years ago. Really when foreclosures and short sales were really happening, at a high level. So we came in at a different time in the market, and you have to adjust in this market definitely to be successful. So, because the market today that everybody's in is going to be different in a year. So
Mhm.
you have to roll with the punches in a roundabout way. So,
Yeah.
had the opportunity to be in a leadership role with Keller Williams. I was in a leadership role for about 9 years. I was a team leader, assistant team leader, the team leader of the office I left. Like I said, was a large brokerage here in the state. We were the largest brokerage in the state of Colorado. So, very proud of that. And all the things that we were able to accomplish. So, and really in this last year, I've kind of taken some opportunities to just you know enjoy my life. Life work balance, is very, very important. And had some challenges this year. My mom passed away. I mean, oddly enough, we're going to talk about mindset a little bit about today, but my mindset today had to be high, considering a year ago my mom passed away today. I got
Mhm.
up, I did the things I needed to do, to get ready and be prepared to be on this call today. I worked out, I did my affirmations and the things I'll talk about here in a little bit. But you know, it's it's a journey, and I think everybody on here has a journey, and I think if you tell your journey, to the people that you are around you, people that are on your team, people that you're looking to recruit, I think if you are a real person and bring authenticity to the table, as a leader, I mean, I think that's extremely important. And I try to do that in every conversation I have with somebody that I'm either
I
working with
love
as a
it.
client
Yeah.
or a recruit. So.
Yeah, and in your move to EXP, you had mentioned to me that you want to build an empire. And knowing Kevin, that was not a shock for him to say that. But Kevin, I'd love you to expand on that. What do you mean by build an empire?
Well, as the role as a team leader, you're building for other people. You're building for the market center, or you're building for your team. In this case, you always had to rely on other people, and not that that was a bad thing, but you were part of a process. By building an empire, you get to start from scratch. When you're bringing hundreds of people to an organization, what are you offering? What are you going to be able to bring to the table that's different than someplace else? You know, and I get that opportunity, by building an organization here within the EXP ecosystem for not only for myself, but for the agents that we're going to bring to that organization. And I'm really excited about that opportunity.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's so true. I love that. And I know I'm gonna turn you free here in a minute, but what do you think is the biggest obstacle that productive agents are facing today? Or is that something you want to talk about
Well,
in your training?
I think in my travels and as interacting and coaching the top 20% of my market center and stuff like that, it usually always came down to really four things, and that was money. People are motivated by money. They want their time. They want to have time balance, and some people don't do a very good job of managing their time. They want leads. Where am I going to get opportunities to work with people? And lastly, probably to be quite honest, opportunities. And I think that's one that I think we all miss as leaders sometimes is opportunities. We try to fill in the gaps for these people, but what is the opportunity? What's the growth opportunity within an organization? And that's what I was excited about in the conversations I've had with you, Jackie, and other organizations and the people above us, is those opportunities. Those opportunities are, unlimited within this ecosystem of EXP if you work hard and you take advantage of those opportunities. So.
I love it. Well, I'm just going to turn you free. You guys, mindset is if you on Facebook with Kevin or like him, Kevin Ortiz, you're going to probably see a post every single day that's inspiring and uplifting and also challenging to our mindsets. I've really appreciated those, Kevin, since I liked you on Facebook. And but anyway, I'd love you to just kind of take the next 10 minutes, maybe leave some time at the end for questions. But I'd love to, share your heart. What do you want to train on today?
Well, what I'd like to do is I would like to hit a little bit on mindset. I want to take you guys through a needs analysis. I think that needs analysis will be helpful to you guys in your team, working with your team members, or if you're looking to build, when you're having a conversation with a potential recruit, to uncover, what really kind of makes them tick. So with that said, we'll kind of just jump in. So, and Jackie kind of did allude, one of the things that's very important to me is obviously having a good mindset. As I said, today was a day that I could have easily stayed in bed and put my head under the covers and just kind of not shown up. And that's not what I was going to do today. So this morning I was up early this morning working out, today, I did the 75 hard earlier this year, had friends doing that, today I'm not doing 75 hard completely every day. I'm on day 255 days of every day I'm working out. So I'm up every morning at 6 o'clock. Before I start my day, I do some sort of post like Jackie said. Here's one the other day, I thought was maybe, good for today. This is the actual post. It says, no matter how educated, talented, rich, or cool you believe you are, how you treat people ultimately tells all. Integrity is everything. So yeah, I see a lot of people doing posts or things that are, maybe that's to their heart. And a lot of the ones I pick or choose are or kind of maybe sometimes how I'm feeling, just getting that out into the world and setting my mindset. But I always add something to it. I always expand on that post. And my expansion on that day was leadership is about inspiring greatness in others. The true measure of a leader is revealed in how they treat others. Show respect to all. Your real character is revealed in how you treat those who you think can do nothing for you. So, you know, and I think as leaders, we have to be in a servant mode. You know, people follow people because they have a relationship with you. And if you have a really good relationship with you, I don't think it makes a difference if you're at EXP or Keller Williams or a small brokerage. They're going to follow you because they trust you. But you've got to also show up on the other end of that. You know, we're having good conversations. We have opportunities to solve a lot of their problems through the tech and the things that EXP has to offer. But what are we doing after the fact? Are we following up? Are we putting our, you know, our stamp on everything that we're saying, and we're really delivering those tools to them? You know, you can't just turn them loose and hope they just do okay. So, so with that said, you know, as I mentioned, I think agents are looking for money, time, leads, opportunities. I think really what we're looking for as far as agents, they're looking for guidance. They're looking for solutions from you as a leader. And to be quite honest, your goal is to determine their motivation and their challenges and their needs. So we're going to walk through this quick needs analysis. So if you guys could all grab a piece of paper and just divide it into 4 quadrants, and then we're going to kind of walk through this. So, and like I said, I think this will be helpful to you guys in many ways, you know, for your team, if a recruit, even people in your life sometimes, because you're going to go and kind of dig deep. So here's some of the questions. In the upper right-hand corner, I want you to write positive present. Oh, excuse me, upper left-hand corner. I think I said right. I apologize. Upper left. So you're starting at that point in time, you know, what's their motivation? Why are they doing what they're doing? So, I mean, just simple questions like, tell me about yourself. How long have you been in real estate? What did you do previously? Just trying to get to know them. And then you're doing a little bit deeper dive. Have you reached your potential? What's next? What's the next level of success for you? What's the vision for your business? So a lot of those why questions are going to be very, very important. You know, getting to know them as far as what their goals are. Do they want to do 10 transactions? Do they want to do 5 transactions? You know, and there's no judgment there. Everybody has a different model, you know. So, you know, and I think one of the biggest things I learned as a leader is, you know, I want to sometimes, you know, and it's not intentional, but I think as leaders, we want to have our people reach our goals, not their goals. And they're not going to buy into those goals unless they really understand their part in those goals on the bigger part. So, so that positive present is very, very important in regards to getting to know them. If you guys will then put in the lower left quadrant, negative present, and we're going to start having conversations about what needs to change. Having their mind start running as far as, you know, what's going on in their life, you know, what needs to change? What's the gap in your business? You know, Sally, you know, last year you said you wanted to do 10 transactions, but you only did 5. How does that make you feel? You know, what did that do for you, or what didn't you achieve by not hitting those goals? And as you're going through them, you know, what's your income goal for the next year? Are you on track to hit your income goals this year? You know, so spending some time right there is very important. But the next step, if you go over to the far right on the lower right, I want you to put negative future, and I want you to put in parentheses pain. Okay. But here's where the rubber meets the road. And I can tell you, this is the most important piece of the puzzle in this needs analysis, is that you stay in this area and make them feel the pain. So what happens if nothing changes? What if in a year you had the same year that you had in 2022 and 2023 and 2024? You know, what are you losing? You know, what's that doing to your family? What are the consequences of not hitting those goals? And what are you going to lose? And I can tell you, you know, having those conversations, you can see the gears running behind their eyes, and they're thinking about, you know, I thought I was doing okay, but I'm not taking my kids to Disney World this year because I didn't hit my goals. Now, whose fault is that? Again, no judgment, but did you work hard enough? Did you do everything you possibly could to achieve those goals? Do you have opportunities to change, the life that you've been living for the last 2 or 3 years in this business? So right there is, like I said, is so important. But as leaders, what do we want to do? We always want to solve their problems literally right off the get-go. So typically, you've got to get really good at going from positive to negative present to that negative future and that pain. But as leaders, we want to jump right over to the next quadrant, which is the one up on the upper right hand, which is positive future. We have all the answers. We're leaders. We know the technology. We know the systems. And as you're having these conversations, you're going to be able to fill in these blanks. You're going to be able to fix one of their issues, their money issues, their time issues, their opportunity issues. Well, we've got to stay in that negative future for some time before we move them to that future, positive future. Because at that point in time, there's a better way. That better way is by this. What successes will this do for you? What's this going to do to your family? You're going to finally be able to take your children on that trip to Disney World, and you can bring grandma and grandpa too, because you did such a wonderful job. So it's important that they start seeing that there's opportunities, and it doesn't matter if you're with EXP or Keller Williams, or you're just trying to uncover some motivation for the people on your team. I think it's important that you get to know them through these 4 quadrants. So when I'm sitting down with a potential recruit, I'm taking notes. I'm making sure that, I'm listening to them. And usually I kind of follow it up with this, at the end, and I'll just tell them I've taken extensive notes and would like to review my notes and formulate a specific business strategy for you. I have some really great ideas I'd like to share with you. So when is the next time we can get together? What does your day look like tomorrow at 1 o'clock so that I can go over and share these with you? Now, a lot of times you're going to get the pushback of people, thinking you're recruiting them. You're not recruiting them. And, when people ask me that, I'm like, I'm not recruiting you. I'm just doing this because this is what I do. I coach, I help people achieve their goals. And if you could commit to a couple hours of a month with me, an hour on the 1st and an hour on the 15th, I'll do that for you at no cost, and bring some servant mentality to the conversation so that they are buying into what you're saying and how you can help and assist them to grow their business. So this is obviously a lot more in depth, but to try and teach this in, 10 minutes or 15 minutes is somewhat difficult, but I'm happy to answer any questions. I know Jackie's used this approach, in the past, and I'm sure others of you have as well, but any questions I'm happy to answer. And
yeah, well, one thing I love about that is, there's a great quote that you get paid in proportion to the questions you ask. Like that's a pretty strong statement, because, what Kevin just did is he just asked really powerful questions, and in those 4 quadrants, and just so powerful. And I love that. I know we hear too in real estate, we get paid in proportion to the problems we solve, which this is the same conversation, not only if you're doing any agent attraction, but also doing, any production, the problems you're solving with your clients. We're like complaining about it because they're big problems. Sometimes they're monumental problems, but we get paid in proportion to that. And the idea is with the mindset to embrace it and to help them solve problems. And that's the beauty of this. But we have a question. It looks like, let's see, you open up my chat box, or I thought we did. No, I didn't. Do we have any questions, guys? Anything you want to ask Kevin? Tom, you want to piggyback off of any of that? But yeah, we got a question. Let's see. Where's he at? Let's see.
Well, this is great. And as you were going through those, Kevin, I was asking myself the very same questions. And That's just a great needs analysis for me and for all of us. And I take time on a weekly basis to just really sit down, usually on Sundays, and no phones, no technology, and just really ask myself great questions. So these are some great questions to ask myself and challenge myself as well. And I love your transparency. So thank you so much. Who else
Yeah.
has a couple of nuggets or an aha? Let's jump on in.
Harris, did you have something? I think I saw your hand up.
Yes, I had. Thank you so much. I love these 30-minute get-togethers. Thank you. Quick question for Kevin. I just moved to Florida. I am a newly licensed agent in general. I've only been agent for a couple of years, but I've done my fair share of flippings, right? I just bought my 65th flip that we have done as a family here. Now, I'm talking to agents, when we close on some of these deals, how they're being treated, but I don't think I'm, going to the extent to recruit them, because these agents have a higher production than myself. So they're going to say, well, what makes you an expert? I produce more than you. What would be your rebuttal, or per se, how would you overcome that? I don't want to call it an objection, because I can go into say, hey, I flipped 65 properties. I really know what it takes to get you to the next level. Where are you? But I'm curious to hear, what you have to say.
Well, Harris, I appreciate the question. I would tell you, again, going back to those four things that agents are looking for, a lot of times opportunities is the biggest thing that's missed. They may be doing great in their real estate business, but do they want to be doing real estate for, into their 60s? Is there an opportunity to still show them a path for passive income through the model here at EXP? The great thing about, where I was at versus where we're at now, we have people above us to help and jump into those conversations. I would be happy to have a conversation with somebody that you think you would think would be a good fit here at EXP. I'm sure Jackie, Tom, all of us would be happy to help you in those conversations. You're just looking to help bring those people together and bring those people to the appropriate party that might be able to be more helpful, even though your production level may not be where you think it is right now. You joined EXP because of opportunities and you saw something. You just need to tell your story and why you're here. And I think as long as you come from being real and authenticity, you should be okay. You don't have to recruit every single day and be, banging the phones. A lot of the opportunities I think will come is through the business that you do and the relationship that you build with those co-brokers on the other side of the table for you. And when you're done with that, just ask them, hey, would you be willing to sit down and have a cup of coffee with me and talk about, some opportunities that I'd like to share with you? And most of the times they're going to say yes. I mean, you'll get a lot of yeses.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's so true. I mean, I think the power of the model with EXP, and it doesn't, this group, on Atomic Team, on Atomic Habits, and elsewhere throughout the EXP world, so many people are willing to help. And so you may not have that level of expertise for that agent, yet people. There's people, Tom Daves, the #1 of all time for 7 years in a row, like I can't even beat that. And so let's just get him in front of Tom. Matthew, I'd love you to, you're just like the rock star of all time. My goodness. I'd love you to chime in on this conversation for a minute, because you're such an expert.
Yeah. So thank you, Kevin, for being here. It's a real honor and a privilege to have you join our organization, and you're an absolute powerhouse and a beast. So good stuff. We can all play off and leverage you coming over, whether you're in our direct line of sponsorship or not. It's an amazing story. Harris, that is a misconception that the majority of realtors who attempt to recruit have. And that is that, they're going to confront me, they being the prospect, the big time producer that puts their leg on, their pant leg on, just like you do, one at a time, that they're going to go, well, how many deals did you do? They never ask that. Yeah. I'll give you a quick story. There was a gentleman that Don was talking to that used to do It was like computer coding, and he was a headhunter on recruiting these coders over from one company to another, right? Now he had never coded himself, but what was interesting when he reached out to them, they never said, well, tell me about your coding experience. It didn't matter because people are more concerned about what's in it for them. They are inherently selfish, right? Like, well, what's in it for me, right? Okay, Harris, what do you got, right? So Kevin was saying you need to know the needs analysis, but then also you need to lock down your 60-second story, because facts tell and stories sell. And that's how you get a rapport and a relationship connection with someone, is you compliment them sincerely on what they've done in business. And then you can share a little bit of, and weave in, gosh, and you can edify them. You can say, man, you are quite a producer. My family and I, we've only flipped like 61 homes together as a family, but it's nothing compared to what you've done. In their mind, they're like, I've never flipped one. Like, that's incredible. That's a whole nother skill set that doesn't even register. Like, you're impressive to me. And they may be a $50 million producer. So we got to get out of our own head, because as Tony Robbins says, when you're in your head, you're dead, right? And stop thinking what other people are going to be thinking. Because the reality is people are thinking, what's in it for me? It's about them. So if you can build that rapport and relationship and get a time, share your story, and then get a time where you could share a few things that may help them move the needle in their business. And let me introduce you to one of my business partners, Kevin Ortiz. The guy built an office, on his back from over 400, 500 agents. Tom Daves, their stories, and you share those. Hopefully that helps.
And I'll piggyback on that story, that 60-second story. I use it all the time. And it's also not just in agent attraction. I use it with my clients as well. I've been a top producing agent for 9 years and even led a large 2-agent brokerage. I've just found my new fresh breath in real estate, and I'm happier than I've ever been. My production is up. The support and collaboration that I get is up. And because I get paid in 3 different ways, I now have a future exit plan and retirement plan. And so sometimes I just share a bit of that. I kind of know it like the back of my hand. Sometimes I don't share it all, but it's really powerful to have your authentic story, that when I say it, I literally do want to jump up and down. I hold myself back, but that story so excites me, because it's what I feel. And, getting that story, you guys, nailing it is key. I love it. Now we have a couple more minutes. Do we have any other questions? Thanks so much, Matt. Such a rock star. Any other questions, guys? Or Tom, you have anything else to add?
Well, this is just great. So, yeah, I do have an announcement for next week. As you all know, we're meeting every week, Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 10 Mountain. And this is our team meeting to just provide value, add value. And at our last event, Glenn Sanford shared that we need to have 80% spent on fundamentals. Our business should be 80% fundamentals and then 20% innovation. We have to constantly innovate and skate to where that puck's going to be, right? So next Wednesday, we have the best of the best, Phil Stringer, and he's going to share how to use AI to grow your business. That's right here next week at the same time. So Jackie and Kevin, anything to wrap things up? Go ahead.
Kevin, it's all yours. Last minute.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be able to collaborate. So if you guys have any additional questions afterwards, or anything else I can help or assist you with, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I look forward to bringing more value to the group here as we move forward. So thank you for letting me share with you guys today.
Awesome.
I just wanted
Thanks,
to say,
Kevin.
Welcome.
Thanks, Jackie.
Kevin, welcome
All
to the
right, have a
team.
good
Looking
day.
forward.
See y'all later. Thank
All right,
you.
see
Yeah.
ya.
Good to
Bye
see you
now.
today. Good to see you guys. Awesome.